Number one, of course, make hand washing mandatory. I would also outlaw COVID-19, and I would create COVID-19 free zones. Also, I would be going back in time to kill baby COVID. I would also build a microscopic antiviral, antibacterial wall around this great country of ours, along with a moat filled with Purell. Now, if I were actually the president, I would certainly pay the utmost attention to the scientific and medical advice being presented and make my sound decisions based on that, balancing civil rights and economic concerns. Thank you. Yes, well, I believe the current crisis is, of course, an eye-opening and potentially very transformative moment for many systems, including the educational system. Kids are learning at home online. They are they missing the schools? I don't know, but are they missing the education? No, they are learning at home. The college kids are learning online where incredible amounts of information is available, so that they are themselves trying to uh, revisit what does it mean to be in college? What does it mean to learn, and how is that learning accomplished? I do believe that, of course, vocational schools should certainly be encouraged, and the kids should certainly be looking into apprenticeships and many other ways to enter the job force and acquire the skills that they desire and need in order to accomplish their goals of employment and such. Um, Myself, I mean, if I could go back in time, and someday I will, I would have a few words with my guidance counselor who, when I told him I wanted to go to art school, said, "Oh yeah, that sure, you go right ahead," without asking some very hard questions. Well, just how are you going to make a living? How will you translate that into your economic well-being? So I believe that there's a serious glitches and failures in many aspects, and I believe that there is vast room for improvement. Of course, I also believe that there are some arguments to be made that student debt, student loans, government student loans, and government loans in general are an illegitimate debt. And perhaps, boy, just imagine if they were forgiven, and what a boost that would be to the economy. So there's that. Thank you. I'm Vermin Supreme, the pro
Right.
education president. Yes, well, my platform includes, of course, one apple per person per day, free band-aids and aspirins, and if you are really, really sick, we will put you into Mitt Romney's car carrier on top of his car and drive you to Canada. Of course, that's facetious. I believe that the important thing to understand currently is that obviously the costs of the medical establishment are grossly overdone. 30% of such costs are purely bureaucratic in nature. The insurance industry has certainly skewed the cost. The big pharma monopolies have done such things, and the government involvement in the medical industry itself. Some possible solutions certainly include subscription-based plans with primary physicians, more transparent pricing, which would allow consumers to make better decisions, reducing the FDA regs that prevent easy access to many medical things. And we would certainly allow consumers to purchase prescriptions from a worldwide market. So there's many possible ways to help bring down the cost and reform the healthcare system. It is indeed very complex. But I would also like to point out that there was a time in not too distant U.S. history where people willingly donated money to their religious institutions. They tithed 10%, and these religious institutions built hospitals and charity hospitals to take care of those who needed such services. So there are certainly other options available. Thank you. Yes, I would like to once again take the opportunity to read the relevant platform plank from the Libertarian Party platform, because that says a lot right there. Free trade in migration. We support the removal of governmental impediments to free trade. Political freedom and escape from tyranny demand that individuals not be unreasonably constrained by government in the crossing of political boundaries. Economic freedom demands the unrestricted movement of human as well as financial capital across national borders. And I believe that that is very true. And I agree with it 100% and would certainly be amenable to any reasonable implementation plans that we all came up with. Thank you very much. Immigrants make America great. Because I am promoting the Libertarian Party platform as part of my campaign, I am going to read directly from it. Plank 1.7, Crime and Justice. Government force must be limited to the protection of the rights of individuals to life, liberty, and property, and governments must never be permitted to violate these rights. Laws should be limited in their applications to violations of the rights of others through force or fraud, or to deliberate actions that place others involuntarily at significant risk of harm. Therefore, we favor the repeal of all laws creating crimes without victims, such as gambling, the use of drugs for medicinal or recreational purposes, and consensual transactions involving sexual services. We support restitution to the victim to the fullest degree possible at the expense of the criminal or the negligent wrongdoer. The constitutional rights of the criminally accused, including due process, a speedy trial, legal counsel, trial by jury, and the legal presumption of innocence until proven guilty, must be preserved. We assert the common law right of juries to judge not only the facts, but also the justice of the law. We oppose the prosecutorial practice of overcharging in criminal prosecutions so as to avoid jury trials by intimidating defendants into accepting plea bargains. I'll also throw in 1.8. We oppose the administration of the death penalty by the state. Thank you. I mean, that says it all right there, I think. At the risk of some criticism, I am going to read straight from the platform party plank. 2.44 Government's finances spending. All persons are entitled to keep the fruits of their labor. We call for the repeal of the income tax, the abolishment of the Internal Revenue Service, and all federal programs and services not required under the U.S. Constitution. We oppose any legal requirements forcing employers to serve as tax collectors. We support any initiative to reduce or abolish any tax and oppose any increase on any tax for any reason. To the extent possible, we advocate that all public services be funded in a voluntary manner. Mic drop.
This is from Ian Schultz, and he says, Vermin Supreme, do you agree that capitalism and true libertarianism are not compatible?
Not at all. Not at all. I believe that free markets are essential to the economy. I think that's sort of a silly question in a way. The Libertarian Party is certainly very friendly to capitalism and free markets. It's one of the basic understandings of the whole operation. I think capitalism has certainly been able to rise as we and has lessened the poverty around the world. And so, yes, I'd have to say, depending on how that question was phrased, I'm not sure if the proper answer was yes or no, but yes.
It's from Nathan Kinman, and he says, Mr. Supreme, you once said that you were running on the LP platform because that's what the LP candidate should do if he's running as a libertarian. However, why is it that you agree with the LP platform, and how would you apply it as president?
Well, once again, yes, as a candidate for the Libertarian Party nomination, I have thoroughly agreed 100% to attempt to present the LP platform to the public as my own and as a reasonable platform. It is a platform that I came to after a long time of circling towards it, and eventually understood and realized that most of my core beliefs dovetailed very nicely with the Libertarian Party platform. And how would I certainly put that into practice as president? I think I've certainly alluded to it tonight in the aspects of the criminal justice system, certainly freeing all nonviolent offenders who have not committed no victim crimes. Of course, pulling back the military, ending the wars, weaning people off of the government, ending corporate structures, and of course, ultimately, as I have always believed, that in order to wean ourselves off of the government, we do indeed have to build up our alternate structures, and I would certainly encourage that through mutual aid, voluntarism, and charitable acts. And I believe that it's, of course, it would be a massive, massive transition, and I believe it does take one step at a time, and I believe that we can do it through conscious means.